So, for today's deep dive, we're looking at a really specific slice of history, India in the 1980s.
Hmm.
But we're not just doing a simple nostalgia run. We're looking at this fascinating economic paradox.
It's a classic case of constraint breeding creativity, isn't it?
Exactly. You have this time and place with pretty severe resource constraints,
Right.
yet the material we're looking at suggests an abundance of something we seem to be lacking today: contentment and genuine solutions.
Yeah, that's it. Money was scarce, but ingenuity was basically the currency. There was this whole philosophy of, fewer means, more peace.
And that plays out so clearly with the children. You couldn't just hand a kid an iPad to keep them quiet.
Oh, absolutely not. The entertainment had to be engineered.
Scratch.
Literally engineered. I mean, the toys weren't bought, they were built. Take the homemade cars. This wasn't some Lego set.
No.
Kids were out there scavenging wood and fashioning wheels out of worn-out rubber slippers.
It's recycling before upcycling was a marketing term. You're taking footwear that's failed at its main job and, reinventing it as a race car?
Yeah. It teaches you physics and material science
Right.
just so you can have a race.
Right.
It just turns scarcity into this masterclass in problem solving. And then you have the bottle cap spinner.
Oh, I love this.
You flatten a cold drink cap with a hammer,
Yeah.
punch a couple of holes in it with a nail, and then spin it on a string.
It's essentially trash, but the physics of it was hypnotic.
And probably a little dangerous if you weren't careful.
It was such a tactile era. Even the pranks were so physical. The sources mention using those sticky burrs you'd find in the fields.
And just sticking them onto people's clothes or in their hair.
Exactly.
That connects to the Diwali gun, too.
Yeah.
It was a prized possession, a real status symbol. But again, these things required you to be out in the world.
Right, interacting with the physical environment.
Mm-hmm.
The fields, the mud, the metal, not a scream.
And that physical connection, it didn't stop at toys. It went right into hygiene, the senses. The smells of that era were just so raw.
Unfiltered.
It was a very, very sensory-heavy existence. You have
Yes.
the smell of Life Booty soap, which apparently had a scent that just doesn't exist anymore.
And the dental hygiene was a whole visual event. The Dabur red tooth powder.
It looked terrifying. Stained your fingers and your brush bright red.
Such a stark contrast to the sterile, minty white thing we have now. And grooming wasn't exactly a spa day either.
Not at all. Salons had no AC, no fancy creams,
Mhm.
and the home routines. They were practically chemistry projects.
You mean like the kadrota for making coal?
Yes. Grandmother's making coal over an open flame.
Mm-hmm.
You were literally manufacturing your own beauty products with fire.
It feels like there was more faith in, home remedies and superstitions, too. I love the detail about keeping peacock feathers in school books.
The belief that it brought wisdom, it just speaks to the innocence of the time.
It really does.
Even the treats, those red Chiran digestive pills or the cheap ice sticks, they were simple, but the perceived value was incredibly high.
Speaking of high value but low fidelity, we have to talk about the tech. We think of the 80s as low tech, but they were gadgets. They were just temperamental.
The TV antenna struggle is the definitive collective memory here.
It really is.
It wasn't a passive experience.
Yeah.
If it rained, the signal just died.
And you had to physically climb up on the roof and start turning the antenna while someone shouted instructions from the living room.
The human remote control dynamic.
Yeah.
It forced interaction.
It did. Watching TV was a coordinated team effort. You couldn't just binge watch in isolation.
And the devices themselves were often these multi-purpose survival kits. You had these all-in-one gadgets,
A tube light, a torch, and a radio all in one.
and a tape recorder.
Yeah.
All in one clunky brick. It just reflects that scarcity mindset. Why buy three things when one can do it all, sort of?
That reliance on radio and cassettes really changed how people consumed media. You had to commit to the tape.
You did.
Yeah.
And because there were no mobile phones, no internet, the social fabric was just tighter. Girls played physical games outside. Neighbors gathered naturally because they weren't all isolated in their own digital bubbles.
The network was the neighborhood.
Exactly.
It seems like we've gone from a time of grain stored in massive home containers, which sort of symbolizes security and patience, to a time of instant digital delivery, but constant anxiety.
That's the core trade-off. We have infinite convenience now. But the question is, have we lost the satisfaction that came from those manual solutions?
Something to think about the next time your Wi-Fi drops and you feel that little jolt of panic. Maybe we need a little more antenna adjusting energy in our lives.
And a little less screen time.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you on the next one.